first place. After a wait, finally some celebration in Houston. Could an upset at the Skins possibly be in the cards? We're winging it on NFL Primetime. Good. Hello once again, everybody. I'm Chris Berman, and welcome to week number 15 of NFL Primetime, a week where 13 of 14 games have playoff implications. There is no way I could figure it all out myself. That's why I've enlisted the help of Tom Jackson and Robin Roberts, as always, to help me figure out exactly what is going on with the playoff picture. Let's check out the late games going on around the National Football League. The Bills and Raiders. Buffalo has just scored a touchdown, but Scott Norwood personally has cost the Bills a chance to tie this game, missed 2 field goals and an extra point, so the Raiders lead the Bills 27-20. Kenneth Davis scored the touchdown. Now 4 minutes to go, the Bills about to kick off. Detroit leads the Jets 34-20. Barry Sanders a couple of touchdowns early. Long time to go in that game, 7 minutes left. The Phoenix Cardinals almost pulled a big surprise that led the Skins 14-0 at the half, but Washington came back with 20 points in the second half to win it 20-14. Seattle trying to upset the 49ers in the Kingdom 22-17. Under a minute and a half to go in that game, the 49ers have the ball, and they're in Seattle territory. And the Falcons have won 4 in a row. They have doused the Los Angeles Rams out of Anaheim 31-14. Our game tonight here on ESPN, the Minnesota Vikings flickering playoff hope.
NFL Primetime is brought to you by Dollar Rent-A-Car. Right on the airport. Right on the money.
Welcome back to Primetime. The Bears and the Packers. They have met more often than any two teams in the history of the National Football League. If you include the one playoff game they once upon a time had, this would be the 143rd meeting of their storied rivalry. Bears had an advantage this year with the schedule. This marked the 3rd time that they played a game that had 10 days off before they played another one. Oh, yeah, another advantage they had today, they're a better team than the Green Bay Packers. Here we go, wind it up from Soldier Field. Packers have been doing the Lindy all year long. Mike Ditka, his team had lost 2 in a row, and they're trying to get him fired up. Jim Harbaugh had played poorly last 2 weeks. Had a feeling he'd have a good game, but not early. Pass is picked off by Vinnie Clark. And the Packers are in business in Chicago territory. Or are they? But the way the Pack season has gone, not 1, but 2 penalties against Green Bay, so we nullify it twice. So the Bears continue the drive. And they capitalize when Brad Colonel Muster in the end zone with the football. It's a touchdown, 7-0 Chicago. 7-3 score. Jim Harbaugh's arm is hit, and this time, Vinnie Clark gets the pick, and you know this one counted, so Green Bay is in business. Another highlight for the Pack, there weren't a lot today, but Mike Tomczak, the former Bear, the jump pass to Jackie Harris, the touchdown, and Lindy and Fonnie's Packers leading 10-7, but not the ball. Chicago's next drive, Harbaugh on 3rd and 8. Look at him rumble, bumble, stumble inside the 10-yard line, sends up a 1st and goal for the Chicago Bears. 2 plays later, Brad Muster in the kitchen with the lead pipe. It's a touchdown for the Colonel, 14-10 the Bears.
Yeah, Chris, Brad Muster does a nice job of weaving his way through the defense here, but a sloppy tackling job by the Green Bay Packers.
Now the Bears smelling some blood, as they do very well. Harbaugh to Wendell Davis, 20 yards, touchdown, and the Bears win it, 21-10. Second half, and Lindy has seen this happen before. Watch Harbaugh with the floater. Davis with the reception, who came back to the football, Tom.
Yeah, Wendell Davis does a good job of 2 things here. Giving the defender a little bit of a nudge in the back, and then coming back and concentrating on the football for the touchdown.
Jim Harbaugh threw for over 200 yards, had a pair of touchdowns. Wendell Davis, the most catches for Chicago Bears, is now has 54 since Dick Gordon had more in 1970. Bears don't throw the ball a lot. They did today. Muster 2, Davis 2, and the Bears beat the Packers 27-13. They have swept the Packers now 6 out of the last 7 years. And really, Tommy, not unexpected that the Bears would come out with fire in their eyes, especially with the extra rest.
I think the extra rest, and also we all saw Mike Ditka ranting and raving after that loss last week. You had to expect the Bears to come out and play some smash-mouth football. I thought they put a lot of good pressure on Tom Sack during the course of the day. And the surprising thing, without Neil Anderson in the game, Brad Mustard picked up the slack for them running the football.
Those are some hard feelings, really, between Harbaugh and Tom Sack. Remember, they both were battling for the job after McMahon left. Harbaugh coming out on top today. He's done that more often. Though Tom Sack hasn't played bad for the Pack. It's Jim Harbaugh that when he does well, the Bears have won this year. For example, in the 10 games the Bears have won, if they have to mark the 10-4, he has thrown at least one touchdown pass in all of them. In their 10 wins, he's thrown for about 60%. In the 4 losses, no TD passes, picked off 8 times. You read the quarterback, you read whether they won or they lost. When we return, the Denver Broncos have always made life miserable for Kozar. Would today be yet another day? We'll be back. We'll have it for you. Top of the hour as we go. Catchy, isn't it? I won't answer that. One, we'd like to welcome all of those that have watched the San Francisco 49ers stay alive in the playoff hunt. Steve, I got you, babe Bono, late to John Taylor, 15 yards. The Niners stave off the Seahawks at the Kingdome, 24-22. We'll have highlights of that later. If you like more than just 4 quarters of action, well, Robin Roberts is our overtime specialist because we had not one but 2 OT early games. And even though some of the teams involved in it aren't playoff squads, they gave it their all.
Yeah, but this one was involving a playoff team. And let's flash back to week number 5. The Chiefs escaped Jack Murphy with a 1-point win over the Chargers, so Kansas City knew it was not going to be easy to clinch a playoff berth today. But the Niners and the Raiders are waiting for the Chiefs out on the road in the coming weeks, so maybe playing the Lightning Bolts at home wouldn't be so bad after all, but it would be bad for Steve DeBerg. Simply cannot regain his touch of last year. In the second quarter, of course, the Chargers are up 7-0. DeBerg intercepted by Donald Frank, and he goes untouched. 71 yards for the touchdown. The Chargers would lead 14-0. Marty Schottenheimer gives DeBerg a little pep talk, but with time winding down in the first half, DeBerg gets picked off again, this time by Darren Carrington. And Dan Henning simply approves of that play. DeBerg, rough first half. 12 of 23 for 111 yards, but you see there 2 INTs, 14-3 at the half. In the third quarter, John Freeze goes back to pass. He gets hit and appears to fumble. Derek Thomas scoops it up, and he scores the touchdown, or does he? Watch it again. Freeze is attempting to throw the ball, and the official calls it an incomplete pass. Schottenheimer is not going to be pleased about this, and he wants the play reviewed, TJ.
Robin, when we watched this the first time, you couldn't even see John Freeze get rid of the ball. The second time, you could see his arm coming forward. But as we watch this view of it, it appears that he actually threw this ball backwards, a lateral that should have been called just that, and a touchdown for Derek Thomas.
Well, Barry Word would go on to score from the 1 yard to cut the lead to 14-10. Fourth quarter, Chargers up by that score. Mark Vlasic took over in the second half for the bench to Berg. He hits J.J. Burton for 16 yards. Vlasic then finds Harvey Williams for the 16-yard touchdown. The Chiefs lead 17-14. DeBerg is even excited about this. Vlasic in the second half was strong, 12 of 18, 150 yards, no interceptions. But with a little over 2 minutes left, Freeze leads the Chargers back. Freeze goes back, has some time, finds Nate Lewis for 16 yards. Then Freeze finds Lewis again, this time for 14 yards. 15 seconds left. John Carney came on a 37-yard attempt. It's good. We go to OT, tied at 17-all. In overtime, watch this. Brian Barker, he punts for the Chiefs. Todd McNair, he knocks it back to Charles Watts. Yes! Puts it down at the 1-inch line. That was the play of the game, no doubt about it. Nick Lowry is going to get his shot. Chiefs get the ball at the Chargers 29 after they have to punt in their own end zone. Barry Word goes up the middle, 28 yards. He goes down at the 1-yard line, and Nick Lowry just comes on in. A little chip shot, nails the win, 20-17. In overtime is the final. Nick Lowry's 20th straight successful kick. The Chiefs improved to 9-5, and they remain in the hunt in the AFC West. The Colts and the Patriots, no, they're not heading to the playoffs, but who cares when they play like this? Too bad nobody was really there to see it. Only 20,000 and some change on hand, but they saw a good one. Colts going up top. to Jeff George. Jeff George, he hits Jesse Hester for the 13-yard touchdown, 7-3 Colts. Meanwhile, not a good day for the receivers. Irving Fryer goes out. Mark Cook jams some fingers. And Greg McMurtry got a visit from the trainer after that hit, TJ.
Yeah, that meant that the quarterback, Hugh Millen, had to look for some new receivers. Here he goes to John Stevens over the middle of the football field. It's dropped, and then Michael Timpson with green grass in front of him also makes a drop. Remember that he didn't do it anymore today.
Colts can put the game away, up 7, 1:35 remaining, 3rd and inches. And the Pats stop Eric Dickerson cold. Pats stuffed Dickerson all day. 30 carries, just 53 yards and a touchdown. They gave the Pats one last shot. Hugh Millen goes back, goes deep, but he overthrows Michael Timpson, and Millen wants another shot. 3rd and 15. Millen hits Cook. A 19-yard gain. First down. 2nd and 15. Millen to Timpson. 26-yard gain. He's down at the 2-yard line. 9 seconds in the game. Pats, no timeouts left. Millen to Ben Coates. The Pats erase a 17-3 deficit. Fred Smerlis and McPherson just simply love it. We're in overtime. And the second drive for the Pats, Millen goes deep again to Michael Timpson. Again, a touchdown. 45 yards it goes. Millen, 21 of 40 for 330 yards. 1 in the 4th quarter touchdown, 1 in OT, and he gets the max sack as the Pats go on to win by a final of 23-17. Only 20+ thousand saw that, the smallest non-strike crowd in Foxborough history, and they missed the Patriots winning their 5th game, which is really huge because the new CEO Sam Yankovic, he had a new deal with all the new Patriots that they would receive a bonus, but it was hinged on the wins and beginning with number 5, so $250,000 spread among those new contracts.
Had to be disheartening for the Patriots. It really had a nice year. They come out, there's nobody there, but you know what? After 3 o'clock, once again, they played great football. They looked at their watch. Oh, it's time for us to play, and they won. They've been very exciting this year. All right, we've got more exciting highlights to show you. And first, the Patriots. I mean, it's not a great accomplishment these days beating the Colts, but for New England, it's something to build on. Against the Colts the last 3 years, they're now 5-1. Against the rest of the NFL, 6 up, 34 down. When we return, Oilers defense showing the Steelers there's nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Martha Reeves in the Vangelis style. And Steve Walsh got to meet Jim Jeffcoat up close. Too close. We'll be back. Or the Cleveland Tan or something. 60-degree day, and Cleveland's success against the Broncos been for the Birds. John Elway, early on, both teams had some good sacks. James Jones sacks Elway one of 4 times. He was riveted, sure. So Bernie Kosar takes his shot, facing up a fired veteran defensive Carl Mecklenburg. Kosar tries to run.
And this is not a good matchup in the sprint. I don't think Bernie Kosar is ever going to beat Carl Mecklenburg to the sideline.
So now it's Johnny Elway's turn, but it hurt some this year. The veteran Pro Bowler Clay Matthews with a sack. So now it's Kosar's turn. And the youngster Jeff Mills, playing for the injured Mike Kroll, sacks Bernie. 7 sacks combined. That is Jim Brown. And Harry Edwards saying, hey, use your head. So Cedric Figaro does. Elway on the roll. And he throws, and it's picked up a big, makes the pick for Cleveland, and they're in business. So Cleveland goes to the air. How often? Some look great, some don't. But Kosar to Leroy Horde has become a murderous passing combination this year. Rupp for 16 yards. Then Kevin Mott rolls into the end zone, a 3-yard run. His 8th rushing touchdown. Dan not pleased. Denver is behind 7-0. Elway could come back on the next series. Michael Young. Yes, the bullet to Michael Young, your touchdown. We're tied at 7. Look at the toss.
John Elway had a chance to rest his arm on Wednesday and Thursday of this week, and the velocity on his throw came back. You can see it on that TD.
It was so low-scoring a game, Michael Dean Perry went to single digits. Broncos think they have the go-ahead score. Elway to Clarence K. Denver leads, right? Wrong. Pass interference, Clarence K. That Dan was real pleased about that. What a forgotten Bronco. Vance Johnson does the Vance. It's an advance of a touchdown from Elway. 6 yards, 14-7 Broncos. Elway has the sore shoulder. When he has to gun it against the Natalie-clad Bill Belichick Browns, he does it. And they had a field goal in the 4th quarter. The Browns have done well, but have struggled in the 4th quarter. Denver beats the Cleveland Browns 17-7. 13th time of 14 games, Denver's held their foe to under 21 points. Steelers and the Oilers. Oilers trying for the 3rd straight week to clinch the division. Jim Eddy, the defensive coordinator, urging their squad on. and they swarm around Pittsburgh. Quarterback Neil O'Donnell, Sean Jones records a sack. Lamar Lathan can't quite bring down Leroy Thompson, can't find him. Neither can Al Smith, but eventually, hey, he can't run anywhere. Against the pass, Ray Childress flushes out O'Donnell. Sean Jones wraps him up. On offense, the Oilers, which Warren Moon would show up? These guys? Oh, there's a guy with shoulder pads. He answers quickly to Haywood Jeffries for a pickup. And then Moon across the middle to Ernest Gibbons from
Louisville.
He makes the catch, playing with a broken nose he suffered Monday night, and then when they expect to pass, they run it, Tom.
Yeah, and Chris, when you give linemen a chance to drive block, it raises their spirit. Here, Mike Munchak and Don Maggs open up a big hole for Alan Pinkett to get the TD. And when Munchak goes to the sideline, he gets an attaboy.
There you go. Nice hairdo. Steelers trail at 10-3, but they're driving. O'Donnell, pressure by William Fuller, then throws into a crowd. Bo Orlando and Dawn makes the pick. His third pick in as many games. Kevin Gilbride, offensive coordinator of the Oilers, wondering when they could open it up. And they do it right here. Look at the little pick and run. He runs right up the middle for 42 yards before Rod Woodson throws him down. Then, 5 plays later, Moon, the leading receiver in football, Haywood Jeffries for a touchdown, and the Oilers lead it 17-3. 89 catches on the year now for Jeffries. There's Moon's numbers. Alan Pinkett rushed for almost 100 yards in the run and shoot. You're kidding? And the defense had some fun. Lamar Lathan drills O'Donnell. Al Smith picks it up. He's bumped and stumped in. He just goes. Go all the way. Offense, defense, celebration at the Dome. Third time was a charm, and a wet one for Jack Pardee. The Oilers clinched their first title since 1967, since Garland Boyette was a middle linebacker and Hoyle Granger was a fullback in the AFL. The Oilers have won the AFC Central as they doused the Steelers literally 31-6. So now both Houston and Denver, with their wins, are certainly in the playoffs. And Tommy, although the Broncos don't know if they win the division yet, you're looking at their defense, which has really been a surprise this year.
Yeah, outstanding job of defense by the Broncos today, holding this team, the Browns team, to under 200 yards on the day. I thought that particularly Jeff Mills, replacing Mike Crow, did a good job, got 2 sacks on the day. But you know that Dan Reeves, when he came to play the Browns, he knew that they were the leading team in the NFL in turnover ratio. They only turned the ball over 1 time on the day.
Well, they were particular with the way they played in Cleveland, and they beat a team that is particular, as you described. We got plenty to come on this edition of NFL Primetime. Warren Moon has now gone over the 4,000-yard mark for the second time in his NFL career. The only other players to do it more than once: Dan Marino, who's done it 4 times, and Air Fouts, who's done it 3 times. Warren Moon, pretty select company. When we return, the Giants fighting for their playoff lives. The Eagles have been tipping everybody lately. Who would come out on top? Herschel Walker stretching it out. The V-Man and the Buccaneers at the top of the hour here on ESPN. After 3 straight L's, first of all, let's get you updated on one final. The Jets have fallen at the Silverdome to the Lions. They complete their home season perfect at 8-0. Detroit wins it 34-20. We'll have highlights of that one a little bit later on. After 3 straight losses, Jim Mora's Saints said, no more losses. We can't stand it. When the NFC West was once in our grasp, now it's falling through our fingers. Enough was enough, they said. Dallas had other ideas. Saints at the Cowboys. Troy Aikman sidelined, but suited up as the emergency quarterback. They wish they still had Steve Walsh, or are they happy with Steve Berline, who cost them a 3rd-round draft pick? Well, Berline to Michael Irvin for 12 yards. And then he hits Alfredo Roberts, who fettuccines his way down to the 2-yard line. 2 plays later, Berline rolling out. It's Harold Johnston. Nice bullet. Berline, 7 of 9 on the drive. The Cowboys lead the Saints 7-0. 10-0 Dallas in the second quarter. Walsh marches the Saints, and just off IR, Dalton Hilliard. They'll need him if they're to pick it up with the bootstraps. At 3rd and 5, Walsh gets it away early to fittingly Quinn early. And on 2nd and goal, he may not be able to throw it far, but every now and then he can zip it. Walsh to Eric Martin, touchdown. Dallas lead is down to 10-7. Walsh on the drive, 6 of 7, 49 yards and a touchdown. And Walsh had some problems throwing deep. Larry Brown almost picks it off.
Yes, and as you look at the overhead view of this, Chris, when you know that Walsh has that weakness of arm, those corners should come up a little bit, play a little bit closer. You know he's going to have a hard time getting the ball over your head.
Bobby Hebert, when is he going to be back? The emergency quarterback of the Saints warming up on the sidelines. And he looked at Fred McAfee with some great blocking on the 10-yard burst.
Yeah, and look at the nice hole that the offensive line opens up here. I think either you or I could get through that hole.
Maybe you. Me, I probably would have been caught at the line of scrimmage. At any rate, that sets up Walsh to the backup host on The Tonight Show. Hobie David Brenner down to the 20-yard line. Then on 3rd and goal, Walsh, an excellent pass to Gil Finnerty. And the Saints make an upset, leading at the Cowboys 14-13. Then Perline showing some athletic ability. Boy, he stepped right in and showed some poise to Michael Irvin, who shows some of his athletic ability, sets up a Willis field goal, 16-14 Dallas. Jim has seen this before. Mid-4th quarter. Ricky Jackson, no, he can't sack Perline. And then he hits Irvin, who makes the move on newly acquired Mark Lee, number 32. Perline is psyched, and why not? He got to watch Emmitt Smith diss one tackler and pick up 8 yards. And then Emmitt again, down to the 3. And to believe in the game with a sprained knee, but not until he picked up 112 yards. Then remember his heroics in the World Series for the Mets? Tommy Agee from center field into the end zone, 3 yards. And the Cowboys have handed the Saints their 4th straight loss. The Cowboys win it 23-14, and what's worse, the Saints lose yet another defensive back. Vince Buck already hurt. Toys in the attic Cook fractured his arm, so he's now gone. And for the first time all year, the Saints, the great Saints defense, did not register a sack. Eagles and the Giants. Giants fighting for their playoff lives of veterans. Phil Simms, Jim McMahon, and Lawrence Taylor. They know the importance of this game. This was a game for those only with strong hearts. In the first quarter, 3rd and goal from the 8. Simms feels the pressure, steps up, tosses it to Dave Megan, and
Look at that little Megan run.
Giants lead at 7-0. Later in the second quarter, it's 3rd and goal again. Simms off to number 30, and
Look at that little Megan run.
He runs all the way to the end zone and a touchdown. And the Giants lead it 14-3. Philadelphia, not great numbers, 7 for 23, but he had the Giants up 14-3. Jim McMahon spent much of the day on the run. Actually, Jimmy pretty nimble here. He outraces Lawrence Taylor, gets away from Marshall, dumps it, comes up limping. And then the Giants figure, we got to get McMahon out of there.
They knew he was going to be stationary. He took a lot of punishment in the first half. Here the Giants send Roger Brown on a safety blitz. He pounds McMahon into the ground, and then later in the second quarter, nose tackle Lorenzo Freeman lands on top of McMahon again.
So with McMahon out, and more on that in a moment, enter Jeff Kemp. Now, Kemp began the year as a Seattle Seahawk, but now he wants to keep the Eagles flying. And look at this. He looked at Randall Cunningham on the sideline, says, hey, Randall, is this how it's done? He runs, takes the hit. Nice scramble on 3rd and 5 for 18 yards. 2nd and goal from the 8. Kemp flushed out of the pocket, throwing it back against the grain. Where's the defense? Touchdown, Calvin Williams, 14-10. Giants up by only 4 at the half.
Kemp makes 2 fundamental mistakes here. He rolls. He throws off the wrong foot. He throws back across the grain, across his body into the middle of the football field. Coach says, great play, touchdown.
What went wrong for the Giants? Everything. Matt Farr, normally reliable, misses a 44-yarder. Odessa Turner, a touchdown. No, they say he would not have got the other foot in despite the hit here. 2 plays later, Simms for Ed McCaffrey. No, it's Otis Smith. Picks it off for the league-leading defense of the Philadelphia Eagles. And LT, really ineffective today, Tommy.
Lawrence Taylor had his leg hurting. He just couldn't do the job defensively. Even when he made contact with runners, as he does right here, he didn't have the leg strength to bring them down.
In the second half, Kemp find the hole. And Fred Barnett went deep. Double coverage, but Barnett has the step on a 60-yard play. Then in the 4th, on 3rd and 29, Kemp pressured. A key pickup to Calvin Williams because it set up who framed Roger Ruzek with a 51-yard field goal. That was a key play by Kemp, and it allowed the long field goal, 16-14 Philadelphia. Could Phil Simms bring him back? They try the razzle-dazzle, the flea flicker. to Mark Ingram. Ingram earlier in the game threw a pass, and the fans gave him a standing O. So the Giants try to flea flick their way back into the playoff, but no. Matt Farr, what is that, Hostetler's fault too? No, it's no good. With the score 19-14 and no timeout, Seth Joyner, we've seen him all year. He sacks in. 4th and 17. And on this incompletion, Rich Kotite's Eagles won their 6th straight. LT didn't know it at the time, but now it's official. Super Bowl champs one year, at home for the playoffs the next. The Giants are gone. The Eagles beat them 19-14. They always beat the Giants. They beat them 7 out of their last 8 times. One word first on Jim McMahon. He left the game with bruised ribs and cartilage damage. The Eagle trainers say he will stay in the hospital for further tests, but he's out for the rest of the regular season. Didn't say playoffs yet. He's out for the rest of the regular season, so it now looks as Jeff Kemp, and they hope he can stay healthy because they know what happens when Gable gets in. So now that's the story for the Philadelphia Eagles. Tommy, the 2 teams that won these games, Dallas and Philadelphia. Last year, Dallas had Laufenberg in at the end. He couldn't get it done. They upgraded the backup position, Berline in, and they haven't lost a beat. Now, took Philly half a year to get it back up, but Kemp is doing a nice job.
Yes, Jeff Kemp came into the game today with a good understanding of what he had to do. He came in running the football, and then the Giants had to run more of a controlled rush. That gave him a little bit more time to pass the football. For the Giants, I think a case of missed opportunities. Had the ball at the 49, the 42, the 15 the last time. They come away with nothing. You miss opportunities like that, you're going to lose.
And you miss the opportunities, and it starts compounding itself when in the 4th quarter, you give up points and you don't score any yourself. And that's kind of what's happened to the Giants. Last year, they owned the 4th quarter. Last year alone in the second half, for example, they gave up a total of 111 points. In the 4th quarter alone this year, with 2 games to go, the once vaunted Giant defense has given up leads and has given up 108 points. When we return, highlights of late games and primetime players.
Harbaugh back to the middle. Bears pick up the blitz. Rainbow's the right side. Davis in the end zone. Makes a leaping adjustment and makes the catch for a touchdown! In front of Vinnie Clark.
Back in the race in the NFC West behind the New Orleans Saints, hoping for wild card. Well, what have we here?
Oh, how things change. And boy, that NFC West, how things are reversal of fortune when you're talking about the Rams and the Falcons. The Falcons haven't won 4 straight games since 1986, and before they took the field today, they probably saw that the Saints had lost 4 straight, so the Falcons had the NFC West lead. But keep in mind, they haven't had much success on the field they took today. They had lost at Anaheim. 'Tis the season. And Santa in a giving mood with the Rams give today. Barry Hilton's punt is blocked by Tracy Eaton, and the Falcons recover. 1st and 10 on the 22. Chris Miller to Steve Broussard, and the big running back does it himself. He just about gets in. He goes out at the 1-yard line. He gets the call again and takes it in from 1 yard out. It's 10-0. Falcons in the lead. In the second, it's 10-7 Atlanta. Miller over the middle to Andre Rison for the 21-yard gain. 11, Chris Miller buying some time.
41 yards.
He scrambles, gets the first down and a lot more. 3rd and goal on the 1. Steve Broussard gets the call again. It's 17-7 Atlanta in the lead, TJ.
Steve Broussard, an outstanding runner in the open field, but I think a lot of people don't know the kind of second effort this guy can give down around the goal line. Almost impossible to stop inside the 5.
Playing hard. Still in the second quarter. 3rd and goal, 30 seconds left. Chris Miller to Andre Rison from 6 yards out. It's 24-7.
Passenger.
Half. Ram fans not feeling too happy, a little bit lonely there. 3rd quarter, Chris Miller finds Michael Haynes from 9 yards out. 31-7 Falcons, and they win by a final of 31-14. Yeah, the man in black, Jerry Glanville, giving John Robinson a hug. Don't know how much longer he'll be there. And the final again, 31-14. The Falcons are assured of their first winning season in 9 years. Now, let's not forget about the Niners facing the Seahawks today. Niners trying to sew up a playoff berth.
I think he just wanted to hit.
Seahawks first drive, Dave Craig. He falls but manages to hand off the ball to James Jones, avoiding a potential turnover. Then the next play, Craig the pitch to Jones, who sweeps right into
Amnesia, right?
a muff PAT meant the Seahawks led 6-0. 49ers, they're not going to give up. Steve Bono loops a pass to Jerry Rice for a 15-yard gain. Then Steve Bono rolls right finds Harry Sidney.
Has certainly given the
49ers lead 7-6. So the Seahawks in for a long day. Well, Rick Tootin's punt. Kevin Lewis bobbles the punt and recovers. George Seifert upset at the mistake, which led to a John Casey field goal. Seahawks lead 9-7. Mike Kofer attempts a 50-yard field goal. It hits the upright, the crossbar, but it's good. And Kofer said, Kofer, I meant you realize he gave them a 10-9 lead. Bono then hits Jerry Rice. A leaping catch in the end zone. His 6th straight 1,000-yard receiving season.
quarterback who's been so
Gets tough. Bono, the handoff to Dexter Carter, who was nailed by Robert Blackman, TJ.
Yes, and when you look at the hit again, number 62 here, Guy McIntyre takes out the cornerback Patrick Hunter, and Blackman blasts right through the gap to make the tackle.
Then on the pass, it is Bono looping one to Mike Sherrard, but Wayne Harper knocks.
These 85,000 Raider fans. Here's the kick on the way. It is good. And Scott Norwood gets one last chance and makes it pay.
Down on the kickoff, Dexter Carter fumbles. The Seahawks recover, setting up a field goal. 49er fans saying a little prayer or two. 1:37 left in the game. Seahawks lead 22-17. Steve Bono deep to John Taylor. A 42-yard catch. Then 3rd and 10. Bono back again. And who does he find again? Taylor in the end zone. He's hit by Eugene Robinson, but he hangs on. The 49ers take the lead 24-22, but the Seahawks with one last gasp. Dave Craig scrambles. He fumbles the ball. The 49ers recover, and Chuck Knox sees his playoff hopes go down the drain. And what about those Niners at 8-6? Can't count those boys out. 24-22 is the final, but the story of the NFC West, the Atlanta Falcons, no doubt about it.
Atlanta Falcons. Niners have a shot at the division, too, and that was long gone. Niners end with Kansas City and Chicago. Remember, Atlanta ends up with Dallas. There's a lot of shaking going on, but the teams from the bottom are making up tracks faster than Secretariat used to do in the Triple Crown races.
Bandwagon, TJ.
We've been on it. We've been on it for 10 years. Why not? When we return, some unbelievable late highlights. But first, our 100-yard rusher list. Redskins will have those highlights coming up. Ernest Biner over the century mark. Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith did it for the 7th time of their respective seasons. When we return, the mother of all games, the Bills and the Raiders, OT at the Mausoleum. Here, but looks like they'll be good for a while. The Jets and the Lions met at the Silverdome, with the Lions knowing this their last home game. A win would make them a perfect 8-0 in their 10-0 overall. And when you play the Lions, you got to stop Barry Sanders. First quarter, 14-yard. Look at him. Jump in, out, touchdown, 7-0 Detroit. Barry's balcony waving the hankies. Then, from his own 49-yard line, Sanders up the middle and then zip. He just up the seam and then see ya. Forget it. They're not going to flag him 51 yards. Pete Carroll, the Jets defensive coordinator, says, I hate this guy. 14-0 in the first. Now, here's a chop block, Tommy, by Brad Baxter on Jerry Ball.
Yeah, and this is something that defensive linemen hate. You see the center, get him standing up, and then the back comes in and aims at the knee. Brad Baxter will be remembered by the Detroit Lions.
And once Jerry Ball sprained knee, Ball was gone for the day. Jets down 14-7 in the first. Eric McMillan, one-time Pro Bowler, was benched because of the success of Lonnie Young. Now he's back in there looking at him and make the interception. Hey, in the end zone, touchdown. And a 57-yard gem makes it a 14-14 score. Second quarter, Eric Kramer looking. And when he hits this man, the color of money, Willie Green, the Lions always win. Kramer makes a nice, Kramer to Green makes the nice move at the 73 yards. 21-14, spikes the ball in front of the Jets, and the Lions are up. Jerry Ball tells Isaiah and Joe Dumars, this ain't the NBA. It's our place. And it's a Tracy Hayworth picks it up, running like, well, he looks as good as Rita Hayworth used to look. It's a touchdown. 34-14 Lions. The Jets score late, but the final 34-20. Barry Sanders with 114 yards, and the Lions end perfect, and they still have a shot at the NFC Central. The Washington Redskins at the Phoenix Cardinals. Another packed house at Sun Devil Stadium. Not. Cards come out playing tough D. Phoenix Lorenzo Lynch sticks Art Monk. Then Jim Waller, Ernest Finer. Joe Gibbs playing against his good friend, one-time assistant coach Joe Bugle is worried. It gets worse. Camarillo punting out of his own end zone. Brian Mitchell could go to the Pro Bowler as a return man, not for this play. Steve Hike recovered. And that sets up rookie sensation from a year ago, Johnny Johnson. Touchdown. Cards smelling up, said they lead at 7-0. Now more in the second quarter. Looking to break the tackle. Cut inside. Breaks a couple more down to the 3. Then Johnson. Second time of the game. Can it be? The Cardinals lead the Redskins, the 12-1 Skins, 14-0 at the half. Joe Bugle says, finally, we have a shot at my old mates. They've been blown out 3 times by Gibbs since he's gone over to coach the Cards. In the third quarter, he knew the Skins would come back. Mark Rippon and Terry Orr wears the defense, 14-7. Later in the third, Rippon to Ricky Sanders in the back of the end zone, 14-all. Then Chip Lohmiller. He's got the leg from 42 yards. It's good. Skins lead at 17-14. Now the field goal makes it 20-14. Cards still with a chance. But Brad Edwards picks off the Stan Gelbaugh pass. His 4th interception of the year. And 2 friends talk it over. Phoenix Cardinals should be proud of themselves the way they played. But with their win, the Washington Redskins will be home as long as they stay in the NFC playoffs until they have to go to Minnesota to play the Super Bowl unless somebody can beat them. Bills and the Raiders, 2 teams that would like to meet somebody like Washington in the Super Bowl. Art Shell 18-3 in the Mausoleum. Raiders come out hitting. Keith McKellar whacked by Winston Moss. Steve Wisniewski, helmet ripped off by Leonard Smith, number 46. It was that sort of game. Bruce Smith, only 3rd game all year, and the Raiders had some plans for him.
Yes, and when I talked with Bruce Smith this week, he realized guys were going to be going for his knee, and Mosbar right here goes right at that injured knee.
Raiders lead 3-0 in the first quarter. Jay Schrader to Timmy Brown. Steps past one man, and Kelso isn't going to bring him down. 78 yards. Touchdown. Raiders. That was a short pass turned long ball. 10-0 silver and black. But on the ensuing kickoff, Al Edwards. Let's get it go. Bruce DeHaven special teams. There's Steve Tasker with a tremendous block. It's 91 yards. Bills have been totally outplayed, but the special teams get him in, and it's 10-7 Raiders. Al Davis can't believe it. Raiders offensive line inspired. The large rookie Nick Bell. The huge hole. 12 yards. 17-7. Art Shell squad up by 10. Raiders want to control Thurman Thomas. Doesn't everybody, Tom?
Yes, and here you see Ronnie Lott coming up and giving one of his patented shots to Thurman Thomas. He stayed out of the game for exactly 1 play.
In the fourth quarter, Marv Levy's Bills are behind 27-14. Scott Norwood from 32. We've seen him go right before. Doink! It's off the upright. His second miss right of the day. Now, the Bills have gotten it within 27-20. Norwood has missed an extra point, so they're still down 7. Kelly to loft at 9 yards. We're tied at 27. The extra point barely gets in. Schrader tries to make something happen. Nate Odoms picks off the Schrader pass. And look what happens for the Bills. He gets some blocking. He's smelling end zone. A great return by Odoms to the 13. 16 seconds to go. Super Bowl 25. You remember this? Everybody does. 47 yards, wide right Norwood. Back to today. 35 yards. Norwood. Wide right. He's missed 3 times. And we go to OT. Kelly to Andre Reed for 30 yards. And now from 42. Can he make good? 4th time a charm. Scott Norwood. And the Bills come back from a big deficit in the fourth quarter in the Mausoleum. And the Buffalo Bills beat the Raiders in a thriller, 30-27. The Bills up their mark to 12-2. They hope that will translate into home field advantage. They just need to win 1 of their last 2 games. Hurry up offense. I guess when you run it all the time, you're better at it late, Tom?
Yes, well, granted, the Bills got a couple of special teams breaks during the course of the game, but the thing about this offense is that when they're behind and gets to the fourth quarter, they're so used to running that hurry up that they feel like it's their natural offense. It is their natural offense. Very easy for them to make up a 2-touchdown deficit.
And the way the Raiders played defense early, it didn't look like even the vaunted Bills offense would be able to come back in this game, but they did. Big win as the Raiders tried to avenge that playoff loss, but the Bills come out winners. 300-yard passers, a limited list. Jim Kelly at 347. Hugh Millen, Patriots in overtime at 330 as he continues to develop nicely in New England. We'll be back.